Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy, Boulanger, and up next on the GM, Ravens versus Bengals. Keys to victory. Do me a quick favor as we get started. Hit like. If it is your first time checking out the GM, hit subscribe. Also hit the notification bell so that you get updates when we upload new content. Let's talk about it. So, Thursday night football, Ravens versus Bengals at the bank. AFC North divisional matchup. Who's going to win? Who needs a win? Well, let's talk about both teams. The Cincinnati Bengals come into tonight's game after having a tough loss against the Houston Texans on Sunday, 30 to 27, if my mind serves me correctly, as the final score. Okay. Bengals had a late lead, gave that lead up, and lost. Very similar to the Ravens on Sunday. All right. The Bengals come into this game injured in some key areas. Number two wide receiver, who also masquerades as the number one, T. Higgins, is out tonight. Sam Hubbard, possibly their best defensive end edge rusher, is also out tonight. And then they have some other guys who are listed as questionable and also some other guys who are out. So they have their own set of injuries, just like the Ravens. When we jump to the Ravens come into this game after having a big lead against the Cleveland Browns and coughed that up and lost on Sunday in a very similar fashion to the Bengals. So both of these teams are coming to the game needing a win, especially an AFC North divisional win. The Baltimore Ravens come into this game injured in some key areas. Marlon Humphrey is going to be out probably. He was listed as doubtful at the last injury report that I saw. And then also Ronnie Stanley is already ruled out. Trenton Simpson, special teamer, is out. And then I think there are some other guys who were listed as questionable. And so both teams come into this game injured. So we're going to throw all of that out. We're going to ball that up, throw it in the trash because we can't make injuries tonight be a factor or be a reason why we lose or why we win, because both teams come into this game injured at key positions. So, what are some keys to victory for the Baltimore Ravens to be able to pull this win out? Well, I typically start on the defense with three keys and then go to the offense. I'm gonna start different today. Number one, offensively, we have to come into this game and establish the run from the door. Okay. And what I mean establishing the run from the door, we have to come out with a commitment to run. I don't even care about the pass game tonight. And I'm gonna tell you why. On a short week, okay, when a team is coming off of a tough loss, an emotional loss, the team who is traveling has a disadvantage. Okay. The team who is at home should have a home field advantage, but you guys know I discussed that in my last video where I talked about what's wrong with the Ravens. But we should have a home field advantage. But because the body has not fully recovered, guys are still going to be somewhat tired. The traveling team is going to have a little bit of jet lag simply because the distance is not that far, but you still have to pack, you still have to board a plane, you still have to travel, you still have to do all of those things to prep for the game. So that team that's traveling is really doing it on 3 days, 2.5 days of rest, that kind of thing. And so establishing the run, key number one, is super important. Why? Because if you can establish the run early, that team has the potential to submit early in this game. Why? Because they just played all the way down to the end of the fourth quarter. They just had to get on a plane. They just had to do all of those things to prep for a short week, basically 2.5 days of rest, if they even get that. They are dealing with injury. So if you can punish them in the run game early, this team has the potential to submit. And that's what we need to do, especially with Ronnie Stanley being out at left tackle. I don't know if Morgan Moses is back tonight. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't even check that. But um, if Morgan Moses is back, then Patrick McCarry moves to the left tackle. And if Morgan Moses is not back, I'm okay with Daniel Falele playing at either position, only because when you're 6'8" and 370 plus pounds, Even if you don't block anybody, you're going to block somebody because you're so wide. And so I think that that is a prime opportunity to run off of his behind. I really, I really believe that. Even if he has slow moving feet, if he could just get out of his stance and get into position, we should have some success running off of him because he is so big. And if he gets his hands on a defender, which we've seen before, that defender isn't going anywhere. So I think it's a prime opportunity for Daniel Falele to kind of show up if he's called into duty. So key number one, establish a run. Key number two, run the ball. Establishing the run is one thing, but running the ball with some consistency is another. If the run game is working, let it work. Sometimes Todd Monken gets too cute and he tries to do this back and forth thing, mixing in the run with the pass. I'm saying key number one is establish the run. Key number two is run the ball because I'm telling you, if we pound the ball at Cincinnati with 4 yards per clip, they will submit before the half, especially if we're hitting them with 10 play scoring drives and 9 play scoring drives. They will submit before the half. Why? Because they hadn't fully recovered from Sunday's game. See, the Cincinnati Bengals really honestly and truly are not a tough team. They really have a bunch of loud mouths and they're kind of front runners. See, when they're front running, when they're winning, when they're being successful, you hear a lot of talking coming out of Cincinnati. But when they struggling, you don't hear a whole lot. You don't hear that same confidence coming out of Cincinnati. And so I think that if we establish this run tonight, we can punish them and we can have this game in hand by halftime, and then we can throw the ball downfield because they're gonna have to put, 8, 9, 10 guys in the box. So establish run key number one, run the ball key number two, and number three, no, it is not run the ball. Number three, secure the ball. No matter who has the ball in their hands, if it's Lamar Jackson, if it's a running back, Keaton Mitchell, Justice Hill, Gus Edwards, if it is a wide receiver, secure the ball. If the ball hits a wide receiver's hands, secure it. If you're running the ball downfield, you don't broke loose, secure it. We've seen too many times this year where a guy has made a big play and he puts the ball on the ground. Okay. We've seen too many times where the pocket gets cloudy for Lamar Jackson and the ball gets knocked out. Secure the ball. I think tonight's matchup is going to come down to who wins the turnover battle. So we have to secure the ball. See, I didn't even say pass the ball, anything about it. Because tonight I don't even care about the pass. I want them to pound the ball and pound the ball. I want to see 30 plus runs tonight, specifically to the tune of 150 yards. Why do I say 150 yards? Because they gave up 150 yards to one ball carrier this past Sunday playing the Texans. And so if the Texans can smash them up in the run game, then I don't see any reason why the Baltimore Ravens cannot do the same. All right. Let's jump to the defense, three keys. Key number one, stop the run. We got pushed around on Sunday in some aspects. Some guys played well and made a couple of plays, but for the most part, the Cleveland Browns did what they wanted to do in the run game. So I think this week key number one has to be stop the run. Now, I'm not big on saying make Cincinnati a one-dimensional team because that one dimension is potent when it comes to Cincinnati, especially when they're clicking. But I think if we make them one-dimensional, then we can do different things with our coverage. But if they're running the ball well and passing the ball well, they have us at their will. And so I think we have to stop the run. Those three interior linemen, Metabuke, Pierce, and also Broderick Washington has to push the pocket, clog those running lanes so that the running back has to bounce it to the outside, and our linebackers need to scrape, clean, and clean it up. We watched the Houston Texans. Well, we didn't watch them, but if you saw the highlights and saw the box score, you saw them hold the Cincinnati Bengals to under 70 yards rushing. That's been our mantra all year long. I think that we can replicate that. So I think we clog the holes, play a clean game, push the pocket, no dumb penalties, and hold them to less than 70 yards running. Okay. Number two, set the edge, which is a little different than just stopping the run, because a lot of times when we don't secure the edge, when a running back does bounce it outside, they're getting 7, 8, 9 yards, and leaving us looking silly. Oftentimes last week, we didn't fully set the edge, and Deshaun Watson escaped out the back door, picking up big plays, making throws down the field, all those kind of things. So we set the edge. We're in position to kind of do what's necessary for uh, backs who are bouncing or the quarterback who escapes the pocket and is trying to make a play downfield. So we need to set the edge. That's Jadeveon Clowney. Come up, do what he needs to do. I don't know if Kyle Van Noy is going to play because I saw him questionable for the injury report. Tavius Robinson, um, Malik Harrison, and I'm trying to think who else is available to us. I can't remember who else is available to us, but those guys need to do their job because we have let the edge get loose this season, and it cost us uh, on several different occasions this season. All right, and then key number three defensively, Ronald Darby, Brandon Stevens need to be the starting corners, and Arthur Millette needs to be the starting slot corner. Mike McDonald, please hear me. Stop that three safety look. The safety look that consists of Williams, Stone, Hamilton. Williams has not been effective. In fact, he has been a liability when he's been on the field this year. Please stop that look. Go with what has worked consistently this year. The look for the secondary needs to be Darby outside, Stevens on the other outside, and Brendan Stevens. I don't know if it's Stevens or Stevenson. I can't ever remember his name right, but he showed up big against Jamar Chase in the first game. T. Higgins was actually the best wide receiver in that first game that we played. And remember, Marlon Humphreys wasn't in that game either. It was Ronald Darby and Brendan Stevens. And so Arthur Millette was not available. So Arthur Millette has played really, really well in the slot, and he's been a great slot blitzer. And so that's the lineup that needs to be tonight. We don't need to play with it. We don't need to overthink it because he didn't get a lot of run. Arthur Millette didn't get a lot of run on Sunday. Marcus Williams, was on the field, but he was costly on the field. So those are our three starting corners tonight. Rock Ya-Sin plays backup. Kevin Seymour or Kayvon Seymour plays backup. And that's how we need to roll tonight. Show some different coverages to um, the Bengals. Roll coverage to Jamar Chase. Don't try to let anybody be a hero and single man him and all those kind of things. Secure what needs to be secured when we play this team. Okay, and I think we'll do well. The bonus key for tonight's matchup is going to be Keaton Mitchell. The Bengals have not seen Keaton Mitchell this year. In fact, there's only about 2 games worth of tape on Keaton Mitchell. And you can watch tape all you want to, but unless you feel his speed firsthand, you don't know what that feels like. And so I think that Keaton Mitchell needs 12 to 15 touches tonight. I didn't say 12 rushes. I didn't say 15 rushes. I said 12 to 15 touches, which means maybe 7 rushing, 7 in the pass game, 9 rushes, 6 in the pass game, whatever. But the ball needs to be in his hands. Don't use him as a feature back. Don't line him up, play after play after play, and hand him the ball. He's not that big, and he can't take that kind of punishment with such a small frame. Allow him to utilize his best gift, which is his speed. Pitch the ball to him so he can run off tackle. Um, Throw the ball to him on those screen passes. Let him hit some wheel routes. Do some things like that. And then also use him as a decoy. When he is on the field, you know firsthand that the Bengals will key on him. They're going to be paying attention to where he is. So then you can simply fake the ball to him. The whole defense is going to try and collapse on wherever the fake goes, and then hit something downfield. Hit Mark Andrews in the middle of the field. Hit Odell Beckham crossing, at 10 to 12 yards. Hit Zay Flowers, um, cutting across the deep middle, right? So use Keaton Mitchell. He needs to touch it 12 to 15 times. It can't be that silly stuff last week with 3 carries and all that kind of stuff. Use him. All right. So listen, let me know what you guys want me to know on Ravens versus Bengals, keys to victory, and I'll check in with you guys probably first thing in the morning. It'll be late tonight, so I won't jump on here and do no video. I'll do my post game reaction first thing in the morning. You guys will see it then. And also, I may do a follow up video to what's really wrong with the Ravens. No dogs. I'm your guy Boulanger. This is the GM, and I'm out.